رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We are still discussing the ways to prove beginning of the month and how to ascertain moon sighting. And we discussed in the previous lecture that there are many ways we make sure that beginning of the month is proved and the moon is sighted. And we say the first way is if somebody himself see the moon and he is sure 100% about it. The second way, if there are two just witnesses, they say that we have seen the moon and there is no other just witnesses contradicting them. And the third way, if there are a group of people, they claim they have seen the moon or they are witnessed they have seen the moon, and we think that what they say is right. I mean, it is not because of propaganda or they are making a special plan to prove it for any political or social or otherwise any reason. So if we make sure that so many people in different areas, different places, they say that they have seen the moon, so it must be there. That is why so many people have seen the moon. That are the different ways, and we have reached here to an important issue, and that is issue 1744. If the first day of the month of Ramadan is not approved for a person, if the first day of a month is approved in a city, it is also approved in other cities if they are united in their horizon. And the meaning of having a common horizon is in this matter is that if a new moon was sighted in a city, there would be a distinct possibility of sighting it in the other cities if there were no impediments like the clouds, etc. This is very important issue, and it is mentioned by ulama, and there are actually two main views here. One view, they said, if it is sighted in a place, in a city, then it is also sighted in places where it is near to that city. And in near, we means that if there was no cloud, no rain, no air pollution, for example, no mountain, which is in the west side, so the people cannot see the moon, then the other city could see it. So here he said those who have a common or similar or nearby horizon, they can follow the testimony of their Muslim brothers who have seen the moon in the nearby city. That is one of the views. So according to this view, we are not concerned about places which are far, because those who are far, they have a different horizon and different size and enlightenment and shape of the moon. So they have their own issues and we have our own issue. That is one of the views, and that is the main view of our ulama. The common view is this view. There is another view mentioned by late Ayatollah Said Abul Qasim al-Khoyi, and he says that if the moon is seen in an area, all the cities who have common night with that area, it is for them the beginning of the month. Those who have no common night, means the dawn started or next day started for them, they are not supposed to follow that. I give a practical example. Suppose between Montreal and England there is a common night, There is 5 hours time difference, so there is a common night. So if it is sighted in Montreal, the people in England will follow Montreal because they have common night. But the people in Middle East, for example, if they have no common night with Montreal, for them, next day is beginning of the month, not tomorrow. So if we go a little further, let us say the moon is sighted in Los Angeles, which is a 3 hours time difference with Montreal. Again, if it is sighted in Los Angeles, or if it is sighted, let us say, in Hawaii Islands, for example, then Canada, North America, South America, because they have common night with Hawaii Islands, for example, then it is cited for all of them. But if Africa have no common night, you said even if 1 hour, half an hour common night is there, if they have no common night, they will not follow. If parts of Africa, let us say if South Africa have a common night with Hawaii Island, for example, then for them it is cited the next day. Unless other countries where have no common night. No common night means what? Means to them the day started. Because already the night finished and the day started. That is why there is no common night with the place where it has been cited. So that is the view of late Ayatollah Khouei. There is a third view, a view of Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim in Najaf. He says, if it is cited anywhere in the 3 continents which were available at time of the Prophet and the Imams, that is Asia, Europe, and Africa. If it is cited anywhere, then it is cited everywhere among them, because they regard the moon is one. If it is cited in one country, if it is seen in Algeria, for example, which is the maximum west of, let us say, Africa or near Europe, then it will be cited in all Asia, in China, for example, or Thailand, or cities in Indonesia, for example. Though there may be no common night, but it will be cited for all of them, because he regards moon sighting as one phenomena, and it is for all those 3 continents is the same. But he said for America, because this is a new continent and were not known in those days, it may not have the same rules and regulations, but they have their own rules and regulations. So if it is sighted anywhere in North or South America, it is common for both of them, North and South America. Anywhere in America or in Australia and in New Zealand, if it is sighted in one place, it is common for all of them. That is the view. Because this matter is always discussed and people are arguing about it, so I want to elaborate the views of the Maraja, why they say this, why there is a difference in views, and what is their reasoning for it. Though we are not supposed to discuss reasoning, because reasoning is known by the Maraja, they study it and teach it in Bahth al-Kharij, in their own teachings. In the Hawza, we are a follower of the Marja. Whatever he says, we follow what he says, But because there are too much argument about it, and you read a lot of papers in the media, sometimes in TV, people are discussing, this is right, this is not right, this is true, not true, how this, how that. So it is important to know the background of the issue and why the Maraja have that difference in views. You see, it goes to the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt Salamullah alayhim. For example, the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has a well-known hadith, صوموا لرؤيته وافطروا لرؤيته. You start fasting by seeing it, it means the moon, and break your fast by seeing it, and that is it means the moon. So it is by to see the moon. If you do not see, you will not start Ramadan, and if you do not see, you will not start Eid al-Fitr, first of Shawwal. All depends on seeing. You look with your own eye and know about it. Here there is no mention that if the scientists say the moon is there or not there. It had nothing to do with the scientist. It is not there that if you are using a telescope and you see it with telescope. No, so with your own eye. If you see it, then moon is sighted for you. If you do not see it, then it is not sighted. Complete the month means 30 days, and the day after 30 days will be first of the next month. And so on. There are many ahadith from Ahlul Bayt Salamun alayhi, from Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, Imam Ali alayhi salam. The reviews are more or less similar. That if you, in your area, in your town, if you see the moon, then you start fasting. Otherwise, you cannot. You cannot means you cannot start at the beginning of the month with intention of Ramadan month. Because if it is not cited, how you say I fast tomorrow from Ramadan when it is not cited? How do you know it is Ramadan? Your fast is not valid. Okay, you can fast as a recommended fast from Sha'ban, fine, but not Ramadan. And the same thing about end of the month of Ramadan. If the moon is not sighted, you will fast. It is the 30th day of Ramadan and is not Eid. If it is seen, then it is Eid. Also, in a hadith, they said, if two just people come and tell you that they have seen the moon, then you accept what they say, and then you start fasting or break the fast if it is at the end of the month. So, hadith are all stressing about seeing the moon. Now, this is one group. Another group of hadith, they mention that if people come from another city and they said, for example, we have started fasting on Thursday, which day you started fasting? We tell them, well, for us, Thursday was not approved, so we started fasting Friday. So here you say, if you are sure that they started one day earlier and it was cited with them, cited properly, then you do qadha of that day. It means it is wajib for you to fast, but you did not know it is beginning of Ramadan, and you did not fast, so you have to perform qadha of that day. So here, what do you understand from hadith? Some of the ulama understand that it is common for all areas. That is why hadith says from another town people come and tell you that it was cited, then you have to follow what they said and do qadha of that day. Well, in the Holy Quran, there are many ayahs which discuss about that. We will not go into details of it. Now here, when you come to these views, ulama take different way of understanding a hadith. Those who said it is common for all the area, they depend on this hadith. They said if people from another city come, so they will tell you they have seen the moon, you have to do qadha of it, so it is wajib. So if it is approved in one area, it is approved for all the areas. First, secondly, well, usually in dua we recite اللهم إني أسألك بحق هذا اليوم الذي جعلته للمسلمين عيدا. Oh Allah, I ask you by this day that you have made it Eid for Muslims. So this day, it means it is one day Eid, not 2 days. Eid must be one day for all Muslims. Also, when you say Laylatul Qadr, the night of Qadr of fate and destiny, the great night. It is one night. And also, fourthly, the moon sighting is differing from, let us say, sunrise and sunset. We cannot compare sunrise and sunset with moon sighting, because sunrise and sunset, okay, for every city, there is a different timing for sunrise and different timing for sunset. Each city will differ with another city with a few minutes or maybe hour or 2 hours and so on. But they said moon sighting is only once in a month. It is one phenomena for all the globe, or at least half the globe who have common nights. So you see, these are their views, and these are how they understand a hadith and the ayat of the Holy Quran, that it is, the months are mawaqit linnas, they are fixed days for people. So Allah made 12 months, and the months are fixed timing for people to know it, that this month of Hajj, month of Muharram, month of Rajab, month of Ramadan, and so on, So the people should know the month. That is one view. Now, the other group, who are usually, as I said, the common view of ulama, the past and maybe the present ulama, well, from the present people, at least Ayatollah Sistani has this view. He said, no, according to his understanding of ahadith in the Quran, it depends on the area where it is seen. If we are in this town, if we see the moon, then we follow accordingly. It has nothing to do with other cities unless they are very near, that if it is seen in this city, it can be seen in the other one. And his view, he depends on a hadith. He said, first, when we see in riwayat of the Imams that if another town they have come and they have a witness that they have seen the moon one day earlier, that happened in those days when the distances were nearby. The people are away maybe 100, 200, 300 kilometers distance. So they are nearby. The night and days are common, and if it is seen in one horizon, it is seen in the another horizon. People were not coming, let us say, from South Africa to Iraq, which might take 1 year in those days, to tell them that last year our Ramadan month started Wednesday or Thursday or which day. So that is not the phenomenon. It was, let us say, between Mecca and Medina, people who are in the desert, let us say 100 kilometers away, they come to the city after 2, 3 days, 4 days they reach, they come. So the distances were near, not far distances like today, that you know what is happening in the globe, though the distances are thousands of kilometers. So that is not what is understood usually. And the idea that it is a 1 day or 1 night, yes, maybe 1 day or 1 night, but for people who see it, and usually the night start, let us say if it is sighted today here, the beginning of the night will start, and that night will continue, will go around the earth 24 hours, and the day after it will come also 24 hours. The night is followed by the day, day is followed by the night. So that night will continue in that way. Maybe that is what Allah wants, or there are special nights for every group of people. After all, even according to view of late Ayatollah Khoi, there will be 2 days. Because those who have no common night, let us say, if the moon was sighted in Los Angeles, for example, maybe America will follow, but Asia or Indonesia or Australia and other, they cannot follow because they do not have common night with, let us say, Los Angeles, for example. So after all, it will be 2 days. So if possible to be 2 days in that way, So it shows that Eid is not one day. Maybe for every area, every locality, they have their own Eid. Allah made it on their own Eid, as for every place they pray in a special hour for after sunrise or before sunrise and sunset and so on. They have timing for the prayers or Jum'ah prayer. It may be Jum'ah prayer in Los Angeles and it is already Saturday in Australia and in New Zealand, for example. So we say, we recite dua of Jum'ah here, let us say in America, and people in Australia recite dua of Saturday, and there is no harm of it. So there are 2 days on earth at one time because of the distances. For them it is Saturday, they recite dua of Saturday. For us it is a Friday, we recite dua of Friday, for example. So there is no harm of that, Especially that ahadith always stress that to see the moon. Now here again, there are some argument about to see the moon. Some say to see the moon, seeing by eye, by vision, is meant by itself. It is an object needed by itself. It means that if you see it with your own eye, with naked eye, fine. If you don't see it, then there is no moon. You follow what you see with your own eye. It is meant by itself. That is one group of fuqaha, they believe that. Others said, no, it is a way, it is a mean. To see by eye is not necessary. It is a mean to prove it. Now, if I can prove the moon is there without seeing it by the eye, by my naked eye, suppose the astronomers, they say that according to our study, the moon is large and big in this city, can be seen easily, and what prevents you from seeing it is the cloud, for example. So it is sufficient that the moon is sighted, because the aim, the moon, is to be large enough to be seen with naked eye. Some said even not necessary with naked eye. If it is seen with binoculars, still is okay because it's already there. So these are different views I am just discussing. Well, the common view said it has to be seen with naked eye. Actually, almost all our ulama, they said it should be sighted with naked eye, or if the astronomers, they said it is big enough in the sense that it can be seen with naked eye, not with binoculars. You see, the birth of the new moon, its birth at a moment which cannot be seen. It may be beginning of the month in a cosmic level, but not beginning of the month for us. It may take 12 to 14 hours minimum in order to be seen with naked eye. So that is another place where the moon has moved from its place to another place, which take 12 hours minimum, sometimes even more than 20 hours. It depends on different conditions and the environment and so on. We discussed that in detail in previous lecture. So that what is meant. So now if astronomy said the age of the moon in this city, for example, is 20 hours, and it is away from the sunset with a degree of 30 or 45 degree, and it is high and can be seen with naked eye. But the people in town, because there is a cloud or there is rain, there is a snow, they could not see it. So some said it is okay, no harm, because the main thing that it is possible to be seen with eye if there is no barrier preventing us from seeing it. Well, according to late Ayatollah Khoei, he put a condition here. He said we cannot depend on them, on scientists alone, but there must be someone who has seen the moon himself. Somebody should have seen the moon beside whatever the scientists said about it. So you see, these are different views. And as I said, the background of understanding is how to explain it. When the hadith said, you see it with your eye. Now, they said, if possible, with scientifically to say it, then Imams, Salamullah alayhim, the Holy Prophet, or the Imam Ali, or Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain, Imam al-Sadiq, Imam al-Baqir, Salamullah alayhim, could have given timing for the people that, for people of Mecca from today till 1,000 years in the future, these are the days where the moon can be sighted scientifically. That was possible for them. But they have not said that, they have not asked the people. Actually, they said, you do not trust, you do not follow what others said, you depend on your vision with your own eye. So that is why some said it is looked by itself, an object needed by itself. It is not a mean to prove presence of the crescent. No, by itself is needed. That is why Imams used to stress, or the well-known hadith of the Holy Prophet says, "Som li ru'yatihi," fast when you see the crescent, and break your fast at the end of Ramadan month. Break the fast when you see the new moon. So it is seeing with your own eye. However, we come now in this issue, according to Ayatollah Sistani, may Allah elongate his life. His view is, as I said, similar to the common views of the Maraja, that the moon has to be sighted in our town, our city itself, or nearby areas. Now, what are nearby areas with common horizon? They use the term with ufuq mushtarak, is a common horizon. He said common horizon meant that if it is seen in this area, it can be seen also in the second area nearby. Sometimes they used to put a distance in kilometers. They said about 800 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers, around that, they will be of common horizon. Because if it is seen in that area, naturally the crescent can be seen in another area which is nearby, something around 800 or 1,000. Some use 200-300 kilometers. Different views are there of the ulama. But the main view is what he said, meaning of it, that if it is seen in this city, it can be seen in another city. So that is the main one. Now, whether 800 or 500 or 400 or 1,000 kilometers or little more or little less, it makes no much difference as the main standard he gave it to you. But what we mean with common horizon, that it can be seen in the second city if there were no barrier from the weather or cloud or similar things, So that is the clue, and that is the standard. We have to look to it, There should be no barrier, otherwise can be seen. Now, if the areas are far, let us say 2,000-3,000 kilometers, and it is seen in south, not seen in north, he said you should not follow them. You fast beginning of Ramadan month on a different day. If they fast Saturday, you fast Sunday or Monday, whatever it is, make no difference. And if they break their fast on Sunday, for example, you break your fast on Monday or Tuesday, you depend on the vision and viewing the moon or sighting the moon in your own city. You should not follow another city, because a hadith said you should see it. If you see it, yes. If you do not see it, then no. So that is the main standard for it. So here, naturally, there will be sometimes difference. Maybe 2 days difference. Sometimes 3 days will be beginning of the month and 3 days, because the moon nowadays is in the south part of the hemisphere, in south part of the globe. So next day will be seen, let us say, the places with the beginning of the north, and maybe the day after will be the countries like Scandinavian countries which are far in the north. Montreal, because it's also far in the north, it may take 1 or 2 days after, let us say, the people in Brazil see it, or in South Africa see it, and so on, So you see sometimes there is a difference in moon sighting, but we have to accept that difference, As long as we accept a view of the ulama and the maraja, we have to accept the difference. Because as I said, if we look to it, as common people, they look to it that we need to unite the Muslims all over the world with one day. So it is not possible. Simply not possible. Like this year or many years before, the moon was first seen in Polynesian island. Well, Polynesian island are near New Zealand and Australia. It is at end of the day. Between it and Australia or New Zealand, something around 20 hours difference. So if it is 8 o'clock, let us say, sunset here, and 20 hours difference, so it is in Australia, for example, or in New Zealand, it is 4 o'clock afternoon of next day, and maybe 4 o'clock, because it is winter there, it is after sunset. So their complete day, whole day has finished. So how I can tell you that the previous day was beginning when all the day has finished, So it is not possible to talk about uniting the world with one day. You see, every people, they have their own moon sighting, and they follow their moon sighting, or as I said, we follow the fatwa of the mujtahid. It is not for us to be convinced of this view or that view. These are the maraja. We say you follow the senior most marja, and whatever senior most marja give fatwa, you accept it. If he said has to be cited in your city, you accept that. If it is say if there is common night, you have to follow, then you accept that. If they said in all the continent, if it is seen in north or south, then all of them should follow. Okay, you accept that. It depends whom you follow among the maraja. It is not a matter to argue. Well, because sometimes the people in one family are muqallid of two marja. Let us say the parents are following late Ayatollah Khoi, and the children, because they were baligh after death of late Ayatollah Khoi, so they follow Ayatollah Sistani. Now the view of Ayatollah Sistani and the view of Ayatollah Khoi are different. So maybe the father will take one day Eid, let us say, for the father, Saturday is Eid, for the son, Sunday is Eid. Okay, that might be a critical socially, no doubt, but we cannot help it. The duty of the father is to take Saturday Eid. The duty of the son, because he do taqlid of another marja, is to. It is not a point to argue or fight or make a clash and how this possible, it is not good. Well, this is the way. Either you close ijtihad completely, say no ijtihad, let us say dictatorship. This is the rule and finish. No one has the view to give or to discuss, which is not good. Or if you accept ijtihad, naturally ijtihad means you may get more than one view on any issue. So this is the thing that we have to accept it, and we have to follow our own marja. We come to issue 1745. The first day of a month is not approved by a telegram except when one is sure that the telegram is based on the testimony of two adils or on a source which is reliable in the eyes of Sharia. You see, sometimes people send email. They send telegram. In those days were telegram. Nowadays probably email is more common. Say, I received email that 5 people have sighted the moon in such and such city. They are adil. Can I trust that? He said, you cannot trust it blindly. maybe the email is not real, people may not, who send it may not be trustworthy and may not know the facts exactly. Yes, if you know them, if you trust them, if you know that there is no fraud in that case and what they say, then okay. Because they said, according to view of Sharia, it is a testimony. You see, somebody is giving a witness. On the email, you don't know who is the sender of the email, and you don't know the person, and you don't know the people. How can you trust? Okay, if you know email, he's your friend, you know, and his email is not hijacked by people, let us say, and you know that he is aware, and you know he is authentic when he talks, and he said, okay, in such and such town, there are 2 people, adil, or 5 people who are trustworthy, have sighted the moon, and you trust that, fine. Otherwise, blindly you follow because an email came and it said, okay, 15 people have seen it in Brazil or in Argentina or in Los Angeles or so. You follow blindly? No, that is not the right way. You cannot trust and you cannot follow. Issue 1746. If a person does not know whether it is the last day of Ramadan or the first day of Shawwal, he should observe fast on that day, and if he comes to know during the day that it is the first of Shawwal, he should break the fast. See, at the end of Ramadan, I don't know whether tomorrow is Eid or not. The moon is not sighted. As we said, if it is not sighted, إِذَا غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَأَتِمُّوا. If there is a cloud and you could not see the moon, then you complete the month. Complete means 29 days will be 30 days. So complete the 30th day. So now if you have not sighted the moon, you complete 30 days and you observe fasting. But if at the middle of the day you hear that it was proved in nearby city that the moon was sighted according to Sharia, there was 2 just people, you trust them, there is no antagonism to them and no views against what they claim and so on. That details we discussed last lecture. So in that case, then if you are satisfied that it is proved, then you should break the fast because it is Eid for you. And at the beginning of the month, we said if it is not sighted, either you should not fast because you don't know it is Ramadan, or if you fast, you fasted with intention it is the last day of Sha'ban, not Ramadan, because it is not sighted. And later on, if you hear that it become Ramadan, it was sighted, then your intention will turn automatically to Ramadan and your fast is all right. Issue 1747. If a prisoner cannot ascertain the advent of Ramadan, he should act on a probability, and he should act on a probability which in his estimation is stronger. But if even that is not possible, he may consider a month which he strongly feels to be Ramadan and fast. See, for those who are in jail, well, nowadays, usually they know about the dates of the months, but in certain jails, in dictator countries, they don't know the days, which day of the month, which day of the year. So if he doesn't know, then he should fast a month that he has a clue or he think it is Ramadan month and keep observing fasting of that. I think sufficient till here. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل